What is up, my Lorcana Goons, and welcome back to the Lorcana Goons channel. My name is Kevin, and you are watching the weekly Quest with Guest podcast. Every Thursday, Zach Stone and I hang out with a fellow Illuminator to talk about the game of Lorcana on a competitive side, especially this week because we just got back from DLC Vegas, and we're going to hang out with Hector Arano, who just got top 64 playing Sapphire Steel, and he was one of two players using Sapphire Steel in this top 64. So we're going to go over his deck list, talk about his meta choices, his card choices, and about his tournament experience, and even play a game against Zach Stone using his Sapphire Steel deck against Zach's top 64 Amber Steel deck. So we'll see who wins that one. Hector is a Southern California native who's been supporting the Lorcana Goons Dream and channel for a cool minute, representing Team 24K. He has a YouTube channel called 24K Lorcana, so be sure to go support him there as well. And he's been playing TCGs and anti-meta decks in these TCGs for a very long time, so I'm very excited to get into this. Both Zach and Hector finished in top 64 of the DLC in Vegas, so huge congrats to both of them. And if you want to learn how you can do it yourself, be sure to stay tuned to Lorcana Goons for more. What is up, my Lorcana Goons? We're here with Hector Arano, who just got back from DLC Vegas and finished top 64 with Sapphire Steel being one of the few Sapphire Steel decks in this top cut. My name is Kevin. You're watching the Quest with the Guest podcast with our co-host Zach. This is our guest Hector. He is a local Southern California native. All three of us actually drove. I don't know if you drove, Hector, but me and Zach drove to Las Vegas for the event, only 4 hours away, and we had a lot of Southern California representation in that top cut, including yourself. Congratulations, man. How do you want to introduce yourself?
Thank you, thank you. No, just awesome. I'm glad to be here. I've been a while. I'm like, man, I need to get on that thing, man. It's awesome. I've always been a fan of the content since day one. Love the market
Yeah.
videos, those everything to do. And then Hector, as you guys know, I have a YouTube channel, 24K Lorcana. So some of you guys know me from that. And then just kind of started since before chapter one with little proxies on paper. So honestly, yeah, just so I am. I don't know. Some of you guys know me just from the San Bernardino area, IE, right, representing the IE, and then yeah.
That's right. I've actually seen Hector playing trading card games in my time as well, playing Yu-Gi-Oh. I've seen the 24K jerseys for a long time, and it's always cool to see the local teams gather for tournaments, whether it be like set championships or case tournaments, and especially big regional size events like DLCs. And then when you get to see your homies, your local people like in the top tables, it's a really good feeling, man. So again, like honestly, from the bottom of my heart, congrats to you, and congrats to Zach too, because Zach also made day two. So we have,
Yeah.
a bunch of representation there. I really want to hear about both of your experiences. Hector is our guest though, so he gets to go first. You were playing Sapphire Steel, man, and in this meta, a lot of people gave up on that deck. How did you end up like with that deck? And how was your event? How did it go?
So I actually had a work trip when the set was out in Seattle. So I was stuck in Seattle for 2 weeks, and then they extended it 2 more weeks. I only took Ruby Amethyst and Blue Steel out there was for my card pool that I took out there. So when the set came out, I was going locals in there. I was kind of stuck on those two decks, right? I didn't have a lot of the things for the blue red and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, well, this and that. And I was kind of like been playing Ruby Amethyst for a while. I'm like, you know what, let's switch it up. And then the Mufasa, the Age of Mufasa. So there was a lot of intriguing cards that I couldn't play in blue red just because I didn't have some of the card pulls for it. So I just like forced myself to play blue steel. And then everyone on blue red, I'm like, oh man, I just got to way back home, got to stitch up the deck, etc. But I ended up sticking to it for a month and a half, and I'm like, wait a minute, this has like I think this is more well-rounded than Ruby Amethyst, because those are like the two decks that I do the most. I'm like, this feels more well-rounded than Ruby Amethyst, and I feel like I'm like, as long as like I feel like this is the deck that can 2-0 everything, and you just figure out how to split blue red, and that's the equation. That's the way to go. And then I ended up building it, tweaking it. So my whole theory was like I can't get 2-0'd by blue red. If I do that to perfection, I will get in. And when we get into the matches and all that, I can talk about it a little bit more. But that's kind of how I went to Sapphire Steel. Also, a lot of my YouTube people were like, "Stay on blue steel," because I got a little bit of credit for the whole cloud kicker little thingy with the war, like early with the Sapphire Steel. And then I kind of wanted to keep that going. I love Sapphire Steel, and yeah, it's kind of the thing.
Okay, so it's one of your favorite decks, and you said you've been playing since before the first chapter. Did you try Sapphire Steel during the first chapter too, with the Beast Mirror and like all those other cards?
No, honestly, I was doing the whole like getting kind of the hang of the game, so I was doing a lot of the starter decks because I knew the first couple tournaments where I was already thinking like tournaments. It is crazy. I knew it was gonna be a bunch of like starter deck tournaments, so I'm like, okay, let me see which is gonna be the best starter decks in that because I knew the cards were gonna be hard to get prices. I'm like, I need the most pricing I can get early on just so I can get card pool going. So I was just doing like starter deck stuff. I remember a few of my friends, and then I started getting hang with like the whole beast mirror and then draw lists. And I didn't play. That's the one I didn't play set one, chapter one. I was only on Ruby Amethyst and Ruby Amber before in chapter one. Ruby Amber. That's kind of what I was doing.
Ketchup and mustard.
Yes, yes. There was a one. There was only one huge tournament. It was a 5K, and I decided to take Ruby Amber. It was only a 2 deck format. Let's be real, but I decided to take Ruby Amber. It
That
was fun.
that's cool, man. So since the first chapter, it sounds like you've been practicing with decks that aren't necessarily meta like tier one decks. You know, because going into this tournament, I think a lot of people recognize the big three in the meta, right? It was Ruby Amethyst, and then we also had Amber Steel and Ruby Sapphire that were, I think, what you would argue to be the most expected, highly represented decks in the entire tournament scape. And then a lot of people that were playing decks like this kind of felt, you know, maybe I can't play Sapphire Steel this meta. Maybe I can't play Emerald Steel this meta. But you're saying that this deck's actually way more well-rounded than a deck like Ruby Amethyst. What exactly about this deck does it for you that makes you feel that way? And like, how did it impact? How did that make an impact on your matchups during the tournament? Because it's a 9 round of Swiss tournament. That's a huge tournament with a lot of variance.
Right. So I feel like I can go the way I ended up building it, I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 regular. I can just play regular like that. Or then it's like, oh, you lose to ramp. Like I can ignore the first few turns. Tipo, quill, like like ink, Honey World. Like I have twice as ink, like it's kind of over. So I kind of took that line. So I had to practice like I see the colors. I know Tipo or me line kind of thing for the game too. So like it's kind of like that kind of the route that I have to go on. Um, like I said, I ended up putting the hooks last minute. I used a competitive event, the competitive constructor the day before to fix my deck a little bit, and it ended up helping out. I ended up put 2 Captain Hook 1 drops just to make sure I solidify a 1, 2, 3. Like sometimes I would put just like 1, 2, and then turn 3 Pete, not because of the actions or all that, just a 3-3 body on turn 3, and then Tala another 3-3, right? And then you start going Cogsworth, and it's like a whole other thing. So
Hmm.
I think it can go on curve, and then I think it can also be like, oh wait, you lose to ramp. As soon as I like resolve 1 Tink and a grab, it's over. Like I start like ramping away, or blue red is like hit a Mufasa early or Tamato and start forcing like B preps early. As soon as they start like forcing control cards early, then I can like, so I kind of, as long as you know the matchups and kind of how to tweak the deck, it can do many different directions.
Okay, yeah. So I like that you mentioned you're playing it on curve. You're really focusing on what it feels like to be the early game tempo. Especially nowadays when you're running into Amber Steel, Ruby Amethyst, even Ruby Sapphire, which necessarily that has like a slow start as well. But if you can open up, Captain Hook, Mr. Sami, and Pete, that's already almost 4 lore you're questing with before they can really drop a character. And if you're dropping Pete on that turn 3 just for the tempo, you're still cutting out random cards like How Far I'll Go, One Jump Ahead, potential songs in Ruby Amethyst, like Friends on the Other Side, Amber Steel as well. Like that's why I love this deck in particular because you get to play multiple Cogsworth, and this is the only deck that gets to play multiple Grab Your Swords, is what it feels like right now. So it feels like maybe your steel matchups for some of the more aggressive decks might be a lot easier. And my experience with the tournament was like different than a lot of people's. I played against 6 Ruby Sapphires that day during Swiss, which is I thought was a little ridiculous. But I heard people just playing a bunch of random decks. People saying I played 4 Amber Steel, and then somebody said I played 7 different decks so far the whole tournament. So what were your matchups like?
Alrighty, so round one, I think it was I saw them name seemed familiar, and it ended up being a local player that I remember that I went against a week before that, and I could not remember what deck he was on, and I knew he was pricing that deck for the Vegas, and I'm like, oh man, and then he's like, you're not on. You're not on Ruby again, Ruby Amber, are you? Because I had beat him with Ruby Amber. That's what I was playing. 'Cause I was actually thinking of taking Ruby Amber. You guys will see I love rogue decks, but I was like, I couldn't remember. And then he starts off his turn. He wins a Daro goes first, and then he goes like ink a blue card, and then plays like a Fortis Sphere. I'm like, oh man, we got a mirror, and I couldn't remember that. So it was a blue steel mirror. I did end up going against then purple red Forbidden Mountain. They had this spicy purple. The purple red purple steel.
Okay.
Purple steel, and then they had the Forbidden Mountain, and then I went against uh 3 blue reds. So I faced a bunch of 1-ups decks and then 3 blue reds. A green steel, a ruby amethyst, a green yellow, and a blurple. Yeah.
Okay.
The,
Yes.
the
Yeah.
blurple was actually later rounds, like close to top tables. That was
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah,
Yeah,
see,
yeah,
that's a big, that's a wide meta, that's a big variance, and like it's kind of what I went for when I was building my deck for this DLC. I told myself I'm gonna play a bunch of random stuff. What was your record? Sorry, I meant to ask also, like, did you win against those decks? Like, what was your overall record going through the day? What were your losses? Where'd you split?
So the theory ended up working out because I know a lot of people got in that got O2'd because they just 2-0 multiple times. I just knew the math that it was supposed to be 5 2-0s and then 4 splits,
Mm-hmm.
and it was 5 2-0s and 4 splits. So it just ended up working out exactly how I prepared for. So yeah.
Okay, did you split against most of the like Ruby Sapphire decks?
I 2-0'd a blue red, a ruby sapphire. So I'm not used to that. I go the ruby sapphire, but yeah, I 2-0'd a blue red, and then I split the other 2 blue reds. So I ended up getting 3 blue reds. So technically speaking, color scheme, it was a bad call, but because so much practice and against the blue red, like hours and hours, that it ended up working out that I ended up facing blue red. I guess it was weird. I started feeling favored because I practiced against it so much. I would win one by like a blowout, and then the other game would actually be like it would be like a close one, and then they would win, and then they would be like, "Oh my god!" Like I split against it. Thank God! Like I was like, "That's crazy!" Like I yeah, swear as well.
That's cool. That's good. I feel like most people played all the blue reds for me. In Swiss, I dodged it, which was, I think, a major contributor to why I was successful this weekend. And when I played against it in day 2, I didn't get too owed. So I like to always think that I can split against that deck. Still with the worst matchup, it being my worst matchup. But yeah, the event was like crazy in terms of variance. Like a lot of rogue decks actually did seem to make it. Like you said, you played a blurple. I played against 2 of them. Funny enough, my friend Jonathan Rosario, who actually made day 2, was one of my wins. I did beat him, I think round 7 or 6. I think it was round 6. Yeah, it was round 6 I beat him. And or round 5 maybe. And he had to win out from there. He didn't lose a single game. So congrats to him too.
Yeah, like 12 seed after Swiss. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, no, he finished with a really high seed, and like you know, a lot of SoCal representation. It's basically like majority. It felt like majority SoCal, you know, and in terms of like how many people were there. A lot of us were on the bubble. Like as we know, Kevin was just 1 game shy. But yeah, Hector, that wasn't your first DLC, was it?
I had done Chicago, and then I ended up taking. I was gonna take blue steel, and then they convinced me that that's not the call, and then do purple red last minute. Um, and I ended up facing 6 green steels that day. And so I mean, I split all my green steel matchups. Yay, right? Which is the theory. Split your worst matchups, but it just wasn't enough, right? Then I got like 3 2-0s and then an 0-2 or something like that. And then yeah.
Yeah,
They were convincing me very last minute to do the same thing. I was on purple red like the last 2 hours on Saturday morning, midnight, this and that. And they're like, just do this and that. And then I think I played my friend that he's like, I've never touched Ruby Amethyst before. Let me just try it. And then we did a best of 1. And then he completely destroyed me with a Flint Sisu, and I didn't have an answer. I'm like, he doesn't even really know how to like fully function the deck. I'm like, this can happen. I'm like, I know, I'm good. Like, let me just switch back, and then all that. Yeah, I actually like thanked them because because of that, I ended up sticking to the blue steel. It's funny.
Yeah, you got to go with your gut. You got to go with what you're comfortable with. Whoever was like trying to convince you otherwise, you know, you got to, you know, now you know that they got to listen to you. And, you know, so you just got to go with your gut. And it's like that strategy of like splitting your worst matchup. I understand it. It just sucks when you play your worst matchup like 5-6 times during the day. You know, because it's really hard to 2-0 those. But sometimes you can 2-0 your best matchup. In Fort Worth, I 2-0'd. I was playing Ruby M and I played against Green Steel and all the Green Steel, which is 2 two of them. I 2-0'd them both. But yeah, it can happen. I do feel like the 2-game format is a little bit polarizing. Some people don't like it. Some people hate it. Some people, like me, I'm personally kind of fond of it. I think it makes the tournament experience a little bit more reasonable, less time that's being used throughout the day, makes a lot of us less tired. But how'd you feel about your tournament run, about the 2-game format, and then about Top Cut? Like, which do you prefer? And like overall, like, are you okay with it? Would you prefer it change?
So when you do bad, you don't like the tool format. When you do good, you like the tool format, right? So at the end of the day, I've noticed that like, oh, well, whenever I do really good, I'm like, oh, the format's fine. It's like that. But one thing I have noticed, my friend, Matt, well, my friend told me about is like consider this best of one every time. Consider this an 18 game tournament best of one. And then that kind of like helps you kind of lead on how many wins you need, etc. Like that. I like it. I would say with the deck choice that you do, um, so you're gonna have a bad matchup regardless, right? Which one are you most comfortable? You feel like you can split instead of getting 2-0 on the bad matchup. If I took Ruby Amethyst, like let's say Amber Steel, for some reason for me, it's a very rough matchup. So I just feel like I would just get 0-2'd. More than if I were to take Blue Steel and go against Ruby Sapphire, I can get the split. So make sure whatever the worst matchup is the one where you feel like you can at least split, and that kind of helps me on the decision making. But hey, the 2-game format, I think it's fair, right? Like you get 2 games, but if they 2-0 you, they get that one extra point. I like that die roll. You don't have to be sweating about the die rolls as much as you guys know, like best of 3. Oh my god, it's so huge. So I do like that aspect of it. I wish the top cut was like not just 3% of the board. Oh man, it's like 2,000 players out there. But I mean, I get it. But it's a great tournament. I mean, I have fun with the 2-game format. It makes it run a little bit faster as well. But yeah.
Yeah, I sometimes
No,
wonder if they extended the top cut to like 128, if it would deter like the last round, kind of like let's play one game, because then there is you can split one more time. You know what I mean? So there is incentive to play out those last 2 games. But an extra round in a day is more time that they need to book for the venue, right? But go ahead, Zach. What were you gonna say?
no, I mean, I'm like okay with it being like the 3% if they had more Swiss rounds. I would prefer if
Yeah.
like maybe 11, 12 Swiss rounds. And we get that kind of similar experience when we have to play like bigger national tournaments and other card games, but they don't have to always be played on the first day. They can carry on over to the second day, and finish off the Swiss round tournament. And again, this company listens to feedback, so I made sure to put in my survey request, and I kind of did say that, like, hey, I would either like a best of 3 with the amount of rounds you guys are currently doing, or 2 games with about 2 to 3 more rounds. And just like you said, it's kind of odd when, like, round 6 you can start just intentionally splitting to kind of coast your way in there. And there really only is one downfall, and that's that you're giving up like a higher seed, but you're guaranteed to lock yourself in and not have to try to win one more. It might be a better trade-off than not, but the ability for 2-game formats to allow people to, like, so-called catch up, I think is pretty cool. It allows people with one loss to kind of sneak in there as long as they only split no more than twice, or lose one more as well. Because like you said, 18 games, you can only lose 4. Five are cutting it close.
Yeah, definitely feels cutthroat to only lose a couple amount of games. And what my advice to anybody out there is that when you're playing a DLC, just tell yourself you cannot get 2-0'd. You don't take any losses, and and if you take a loss, obviously you can come back by getting an extra win, because we've seen it happen to John, our friend Jonathan. But for sure, I tell myself, no losses, no losses. Don't get 2-0'd. Don't get 2-0'd, because getting 2-0'd hurts a lot in Lorcana, in the DLC, in the DLC space. But yeah, man, congrats again, both of you, for making Top Cut in day 2. Hector, what did you play against in Top Cut?
I played against Colby. He's like on his third Rapunzel, so like it was rough. I played against Ruby Amethyst, Colby from the Forbidden Mountain, and yeah, on the draw, it's a little rough. His build was gonna be even more rough because he was on 7 locations, and
Same.
a good player on 7 locations against Blue Steel. You know what's the win, Con. But I was with my friend testing the exact same deck list. So we were going grinding for hours and hours on it, and we realized it's rough because if I check Flynn, I can't check locations because I don't get to my ramp, and I get to my Cusco's. And if I don't check if I check locations and try to go like the Tipo ramp route, then he just go wins with Flynn. So he can just see what I'm doing and just go off that. It was a little rough.
Yeah, I also ran. I didn't see his list, but I played 7 locations too for that reason, where it makes the Sapphire matchup just a little bit easier because most people are only playing two of the location slash item removal. It'd be either like 2 Cusco or like 1 Cusco, 1 Hideaway. I see you're playing 3 Cusco actually. So you kind of bumped it up, which was pretty good. And but yeah, that matchup can be a little hard because you have to check Flynn in the early game, and if you don't open up like Smee or Grandma, then it does get a little rough when the Sisu starts coming down. You do have a long game Zeus in your deck, for that kind of that interaction because you can ramp into it, but sometimes they still just gain that 3 lore if you don't see like Tipo on turn 2 because you have to wait for turn 4. So that can be a little rough, and that little 3 lore can make or break the difference. And the Sapphire Ruby has an easier time to deal with locations, in my opinion, because you have Vitalisphere, you got Maui's, you have like a variety of Scar, even people are playing a variety of ways to just challenge. Whereas like Sapphire Steel, there are no rush characters. The only way you remove locations in this build is with the Cuscos and Zeus potentially. But those Amethyst locations have a gang of willpower. It's a little rough. So yeah, I can see how it can be a little rough of a matchup. And then you have a great player too, like Kobe from Forbidden Mountain. You give a good deck to a good player, and then you have 2 great players going at it. And sometimes it really does depend on the matchup, or it depends on the way the cards are drawn or sequenced out. But nonetheless, congrats, dude. Sapphire Steel. I think a lot of people resonate with this as a rogue deck right now. How was the Mufasa for this list? Actually, this is like one of the newer cards from Shimmering Skies alongside Cusco.
Yeah, so I like having some type of sometimes win buttons, right? So it's really good. Though it's mostly because I ended up cutting it to one because I noticed like I only really need one. If you ink it's fine. But with a quill and tipo, but obviously whole new world Mufasa interaction. I just have to play it. I have to at least have that in my deck some way somehow because it's like you're building a double board for free. And then like obviously like certain matchups that you just the Pete is in the deck, so when you wheel it, you most likely see a Pete, and then you just being able to put like a wide board presence and then just like the Pete. A lot of my deck building was to not die to the blue red Sisu dragon.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of my deck was 3 strength or higher. So it needed like even it just needed the nuts in order for them to like be able to like kind of counter that play. But yeah, it was good. Also, it's good against steel decks too. That's what I liked about the deck list a lot. It's a lot of my characters that were specifically targeting the Sapphire Ruby matchup naturally were chunky for steel, so they were an issue against steel. So I that's why I really like that. I really like that a lot. Which is why I don't know. We can talk about it later, but I play instead of the hideaway, instead of the visions of the future, instead of the let it go. All my 3 of those were bodies in Hades, in Cusco's, in Gramatalas, in the 6-drop Gaston filtering, and that was kind of my theory.
That makes a lot of sense, man. Yeah, those cards are just like really high impact. Like Kevin and I actually talk about how Gaston's really good into like Ruby M, it being just like a 4 strength character with 3 lore.
And Ruby Sapphire.
It secures like 3 lore, maybe 6 with Lucky Diamond play. Very, very, very solid body, 100%. So yeah,
And a
I've
great
always been like
topic, right?
yeah, no, I mean like from old Yu-Gi-Oh days, it's pot of duality, But you did talk about your list, and we are going to have it up on screen. But I wanted to kind of ask: is there, now that the whole DLC is over, you've finished out the event, what changes, if you have any at all, would you make to your deck list now, knowing what you know?
So I was pretty solid on my list until that top 64 matchup. I'm like, okay, obviously every deck has weaknesses, right? Finally got exposed in top 64. I would like a third cannons if I can fit that in some way somehow. I was playing 2. I would like a third cannons. Cannons is oh man, cannons is insane because they think late game is bad, but after a wheel because it's such a cheap cost, I'll play 2 cannons, ping for 4. Like, like 2 ink for ping 4, like another long game Zeus is like it's pretty good. Also the Maui finishing characters, and then they think they're gonna get double value trade. I'm like, I've just finished pinging it off with the cannons. I did that so many times. So little stuff like that. And he got, so the 3 Cuscos was for the Ruby Sapphire, but I think because Ruby Amethyst can just like notice my weakness and just like go 3-4 like location. You know what I mean? I probably have to do like 2 Cuscos, 2 Rise. I don't want to do Hideaway that early because I do not want to ramp them that early. I'm okay with a Hades that's more mid to late game because I already established my ink. I don't want to hide away on turn 3 or turn 2. Like I that's the worst thing I want to do, right? So it was probably gonna be like 2 Cuscos, 2 Rise, or 3rd Cannons. And yeah, that's probably the only change. Everything else is solid.
I got one question really quick. I gotta ask: did you ever Cusco your own items to ramp yourself at all that event?
No. Thankfully, I didn't
Okay.
have to do that. But I will say this. There was so many times. Finally, this was my first. I never used it in testing, and it never came up. For some reason, it came up like 4 or 5 times. Paid for extra ink, give a resist with the Coxworld on board. I'm like, here you go against the steel matchups. This is resist plus. Oh my god, it was insane. The pay for with the
That's nice. Yeah, it's
Dang, that
fun.
sounds nice.
It's funny.
That sounds nice.
It's funny how stuff like that comes up in like big tournaments, like testing, it doesn't really come up, but like in the moment, you see different lines, and I think a lot of like the tournament experience is a mix of things, a mix of like the preparation you have and studying the format, studying your matchups, and then staying focused, staying locked in, throughout the whole 9-round event. I did not eat until like round 5 or something, just because the venue situation for the food was terrible. I didn't eat breakfast, and I feel like I was playing so sloppy up until I ate. And after I ate, I had to play my friend next round. I looked at him in the eyes and I was like, I feel sorry for you because my stomach is full of food and now I'm focused and I'm not gonna drop a single game. Shout out Max Alper, by the way. But yeah, you said you wanted to add another Fire the Cannons. Would you consider ever adding a Baboom instead? Because it is inkable. And then I wanted to ask about the Cusco, the Rise of the Titans thing. I think Rise of the Titans makes a better choice for this deck because, like you say, you don't have to ramp them that early. Instead, you can pop the location, and you don't really want to pop items against like Sapphire decks because they just get them back with Tamatoa. So you unfortunately do need to like hit the lucky dime with a Cusco or something. But yeah, for the early locations, maybe you do need Rise of the Titans. It's for if you want to like solve that issue. But yeah, how do you feel about Baboom as opposed to Fire the Cannons?
So real quick with the before I forget that thought about the how you said with the Rise of the Titans that you don't really want to hit the early items. There was a lot of times that I actually was with a Cusco tempted. I had ramped and tempted to hit the Quill, but then that like later put us in so much value. So if I like rise them the Quill and then I get to and see only rolls. If they have to like Tamatoa add a Quill, like that's okay, right?
Yeah.
Like that's fine. Like I
If
think
that's
that's a
their
lot of like,
site.
yes, that's fine. I rather honestly let them add than like a popsicle because they still need a full turn at play that and then like it wastes a whole nother thing. But so yeah, that's my theory on that. And then the Baboom, that's I'm gonna be honest, it's probably one cards that I dislike the most like in the game. I
No way.
think I think paying 2 ink for 2 damage, like you're paying 1 ink per 1 ping. But again, like I'm not green steel. I'm not like these other decks. Like I'm ramping and then I have Tipo and Quill. So the uninkability is different for mine. Like I can ink uninkables. So I like I said, like a green steel player, like the Baboom could probably be insane, right? They have to watch their uninkable count. But other than that, like I think Fire the Cannons is just so good because if you want to play 2 Babooms, right? Like in multiples, and it happens a lot. When you have wheel hands, it happens, especially if you want to add multiples, like 2 to 3 copies or 4. Paying 4 for 2, like 2 Babooms, like to deal 4 damage. You pay 2, and then you deal 4 damage, and you play like a character. Like I, 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 I would play 4 Fire the Cannons. I'm gonna be honest before I play the Baboom in my deck. I'm gonna be honest, yeah.
No,
I will
yeah, good to
That
hear.
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, no, yeah, it does make a lot of sense, man.
In a wheel, drawing multiple cannons in a wheel. That's very like big. That's very big.
Okay, yeah, big brain activity, man, and then a lot of it has to, that's what deck building is about. It's about considering your options and then deciding like yes and no and why, And I'm glad. Thank you for answering that question because some people they don't even know the why. They copy lists online and they just play the deck, and so I really like that you clearly went out of your way to practice the matchups. You said you played the side event on Friday, and that is what helped you kind of come to the conclusion that you wanted Captain Hook as well. How were the side events for that Friday for anybody who does want to go to a DLC? And like for anyone who's going to their first DLC soon, how would you prepare for these tournaments?
Okay, so if you're like really big, like a pro mindset, and you want to get like top 64, and that's kind of where you're out, um, you have to kind of consider that the whole like trying to get so many tickets to get pricing that has to like come out, right? That can be a thing. Like you're focused on like the main event, you want to top there. So the competitive constructed, it's honestly full data. The only thing, like I know the pricing is not the tickets, this and that. Like it's just full data. Get your reps in, your mulligan patterns. Like that is like just like hard studying before the exam. In Chicago, I didn't have competitive constructed. I went with some family too. I'm not saying it's because of my family's fault, but I'm saying like that there's a factor of like, I just didn't do it. I didn't even know that competitive constructed. I'm like, this is so much value. So guys, do competitive constructed if you get a chance to do that. If you're like trying to lock in the main event, if you're trying to get tickets, then go off pack lunch, whatever you want to do. If Sediment is a thing is more like community events, just go and have fun. Like don't stress out about like be nervous about side events and all that. Just go and have fun. You're just gonna get tickets regardless. But for the main event, I will say that usually I say to get your sleep and do all that stuff. But I'm not gonna lie, I had a no sleep. I think those 4 nights I probably had like 7 hours of sleep total, and I was just on Mountain Dew, man.
Yeah,
It was wild. It was wild. But
He
get your sleep,
brings you
guys.
Mountain Dew. It's Mountain Dew, man.
Yeah. But I think the competitive, that's one like the biggest advice that I took out of this. Like competitive constructed, like the data and from the reps you get in the practice lets you clean out and clean like polish your deck to kind of what you experience. Also, if you're staying with a group of people, hey, what'd you guys see? Like, so what gather data, like take advantage of that stuff you guys have. That's kind of the way I think you should like kind of go about those events.
Okay. Do you
Yeah,
think? Do you think the sorry, Zach, real quick? Do you think that the side event data you got reflected in the main event in terms of like matchups? Like, oh, I saw this matchup yesterday, or like in a lot of these matchups I saw yesterday.
So I was getting worried, man, because I faced like two Amber Steels, and I thought it was a good matchup. And oh man, I was like, man, they're built different. Like this is like a different build. So they were going Daisy, then Piglet. Then this is Steel Song. Some are still
Yeah.
going Donald on me. And I'm like, oh man, like they prep for the red blue, but it's just like completely I didn't see it coming. And my blue steel's like, it's a free win. Just drop your Cogsworth. I'm like, when? When will I ever drop Cogsworth? Like I can't like play Cogsworth pass ever against that deck. Or just like 1, 2, 3 aerial for Nabeen. When do I ever get to play Cogsworth? I started realizing like, man, this matchup is actually hard. Like it's like a 50-50 at best when I'm on the play. Like it's wild. It made me put the hooks in. It made me put the hooks in. Like I need to put the hooks. And then I noticed there was gonna be a good amount of Ruby Amethyst. My friends, a lot of them were piloting it, they did well with it. I know Captain Hook for a 1-drop trades with like Fox and Snakes and Rabbit and Go. And like I'm like, yeah, let's put some 1-drops in. And I ended up cutting the popsicles, which is good because too many just because the card is good doesn't mean you need to play 8 of it, right? So there's still like that whole like you need to like watch your ratios and stuff. So Sweet hit the changing the to 6 popsicles and then do 2 hook as a replacement was a nice sweet spot for sure. And that was because of the competitive. And if I don't go to that event, which kind of goes to say, and then I would have never. Yeah, it changes a lot.
yeah, no, it's really important too. I did want to kind of say that the mindset of like for the main event for all those listening and watching that are going to DLCs and trying their hardest, and when you do make top cut, it's very interesting how you have open deck lists. At least from my experience, I'm not used to that from the other card game I played. But you get open deck lists. You get to see your opponent's deck the whole night before, and just like Hector, I had built my opponent's deck just to see how screwed I really was too. And so it's nice to be able to add that competitive edge. And so if you are finding yourself in the the day two of the next day, give yourself that advantage. Proxy out your opponent's deck. I was fortunate enough to have the cards on my person, built it ready to play, and got to play like one game against a friend. And for the most part, like the Amber Steel deck has evolved and has changed. It's no longer just like, player Cinderella turn one. Like that's really good into like the mirror matches, but into everything else, sometimes Daisy is where you want to be at, or a Robin Hood, just so you can have the shift line. So I 100% agree that like the Amber Steel deck, it was something to consider. And Red Blue was its only bad matchup in my opinion. Like I split all my Ruby Amethysts, and I'll go into more detail in another video with that later. But the matchup isn't as bad as I thought originally against Blue Steel. Played against one of my friends who was on Blue Steel, and we just went back and forth. Like I 2-0'd him one match, he 2-0'd me another. We split a bunch of times. So I didn't play against it at all at the DLC, and I chose not to play in the side events. My reasoning was that I'd rather focus on other activities and spending some time with other friends I knew I wasn't going to get to see, as well as testing in a more concentrated space. Even though I don't, I'm not saying that like playing side events is not a good way to test at all. I'd just rather get more reps in and more games in. And you're kind of limited in those side events to only play in like 16 games. I wanted to play like 30, 40, maybe even 50 games. I wanted to play a lot more than that. So just kind of consider that if you're going to your next DLC. Seattle's the next one. Hector, are you planning on going there?
Yes, man. Yes. I'm hungry, so I want to go. I want to go. This was
Same.
Yep.
Yeah, and Yu-Gi-Oh, I was locally good. Regionals, 12th place, 18th place, like that. Get my invites, go to Nats. Maybe they make day two Nats, but then that's it. So this is my first major top, which makes sense, right? Because this is Lorcana, it's a whole different game, and this one I would say I'm a little bit better. That's an understatement, but better at this one, this and that than that. So yeah, I want to go to Seattle. And yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait.
I feel the same way, man. When you get a little taste, it's you're addicted. I'm hungry too, and the same thing.
We're so greedy.
Yeah. And same thing. Like I was like locally good at Yu-Gi-Oh, but I didn't really travel too much for Yu-Gi-Oh. I never went to a Yu-Gi-Oh Nats, even though I got my invite a couple times and whatnot. But it's just it's just different with Lorcana. Like something about this game just clicks a little bit better for me. Zach was mentioning how like earlier how just in general like the Yu-Gi-Oh game right now, the way it's developed, like the it requires a lot of skill in different areas, and some of it's not even areas where you even have control over. Some of it's just areas like you have to have skills in sharking your opponent. Whereas Lorcana, you really don't have to worry about that. I would say, however, there were definitely some issues with cheating going on. People got DQ'd at that event for being cheaters, so definitely understand on how to combat that by asking questions throughout the game, like how much ink do you have, cards in your hand, you know what I mean? What did you play that this turn and stuff like that. Acknowledging the game state is very important. In terms of your TCG experience, Hector, because I know that stuff has helped me play tournaments. How has that help? How did that help you get to where you are now?
So it's one of the reasons I'm playing Sapphire Steel is because of Yu-Gi-Oh. Now let me explain that for a second. I've always felt like I had like the chip on my shoulder or something to prove. In Yu-Gi-Oh, I felt like I was solid, but I feel like I never got recognition because I was a very heavy control. And in Yu-Gi-Oh, heavy control is like not how you think control in Lorcana, like very ooga booga, like floodgate flips. Like I was like Eldritch super stun, like runic stun. Like I was like very labyrinth, but with like floodgates, not like comboing up. I was very like on the heavy, and it's like I feel like I'm pretty good at Lorcana. You know what? And then I know Sapphire Steel, like in theory, is one of the hardest decks to pilot. And I've always felt like, you know what? Like I want to be good with this deck right here. I know like a lot of people say that's really hard to pilot, and that's kind of one like if you can play this deck, I can play any deck kind of a theory. Green Steel is also really hard to pilot. But Sapphire Steel was kind of a big reason because of that. I'm like, you know what? Gotta show them. We gotta show them, man. But yeah, that's kind of the experience. But Yu-Gi-Oh, it was just getting a little wild, man. It was too fast and that. And then Lorcana came out, and I'm honestly just love Disney. I've always like been a big Disney fan, so that kind of led me to that. And I became more of a Disney fan when I didn't see it. When I don't see a card and I don't know what I'm looking at, I went and watched the movie. There's some movies that I had never seen until I played Lorcana, and we're talking like Frozen, like we're talking like the OG ones that I had never seen. I went back and I'm like, now I can talk to you about Disney for like hours and hours. Not even mentioning Lorcana, just Disney, dude. Like my soundtracks, you don't even know what I listen to at the gym.
I've
Yeah.
just watched Frozen like maybe a month ago, and
Wow.
yeah, so I'm the same. I pun myself, and this is a joke, but I'm a Disney fraud, not as much as a Disney fan. But I'm it's whenever the time is right. It's our journey to become Disney fans. It's anyone's journey to go into a TCG space, competitive or standard play, whatever makes sense for you. So, I had a lot of people kind of come up to me this weekend and say that Kevin and I have inspired them, to do something like there's another gentleman of mine, I forget his name, but I think it's like 23 lore or something. He runs a YouTube, and I saw him again this past DLC. So shout outs to you. He's still kind of keeping it going, but just take your time, and whatever works for you, it makes sense. There's a lot of things that we always are trying to do for the channel, and this event really kind of showed us like what potential there is in this game for sure. The amount of things that PPG has done for these Lorcana challenges has been great, and I just love the type of community that they're fostering, because they're really doing a lot to really show that they care. They handed out dragon fires and sleeves this time.
I know,
And
right?
it was so funny. It was so funny because as the judge was handing us them out to our table, someone mentions it, goes, their sleeve, hey, and he goes, yeah, we listen to feedback. And it was so refreshing. It was so refreshing just so to know that like your voice is heard from the people that are in charge, and that's really important. So to anyone that's really like that's listening to this, just kind of know that like Lorcana is the TCG space where your voice can be heard as just a player, as just somebody that's enjoying the circle. Because I hear all the time is that like there are other people in other communities, TCGs, non-TCGs, that they feel like their voice isn't heard when they have brought up things. So it's really nice that they're doing this, and I really love that experience. So it's great that like now that Vegas is over, we're all hungry for Seattle. I don't know if you knew this, Hector, but we not only quest with the guest, we literally like to quest, meaning gain lore, and we always like to have Kevin. The guest likes to always be on Kevin's side and see if we can take down the big bad Zach over here. I thought it'd be fun if we just played our DLC lists that we made day 2 with, and just go at it and see what would happen if we played each other in Swiss in a 2-game format. So are you ready
Oh
to
man, no pressure.
quest with us, Hector?
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's do it. No
Awesome.
pressure, right? Watch, this is gonna be my first O2 of that tournament because we're gonna act like this was my 10th round right there. Let's do it, though. Let's do it.
Zach does
Uh,
have a pretty good record against us, but no, we're gonna take him down. It's top 64 versus top 64, so stay tuned till our kind of goons will be back. I got Hector on my team. We're playing against Zach Stone. Zach mutes his mic during our turn, Hector, so we can talk about our plays.
no, not anymore. Not
Oh no,
anymore.
okay,
Not
she's
anymore.
be a
I just
cheater.
pretend. I just don't know what you guys are talking about.
Okay. So opening hand.
All right,
This
I'm
is
gonna roll. Wait. Before we do, I'm gonna roll the dice. Okay.
okay, sure. 7.
7,
Bam. 6. Oh,
6.
Zach is going
All right.
first. Okay, so
I'm
Zach
on
gets
the
to go.
play. So
It's our opening hand.
let me mulligan. I guess it'll be quick. How do I get rid of these
Right,
backspaces?
so we're going
Fine.
blind, right? Like that's important to know. Are we going blind here? Like I don't know what he's playing.
Yeah, let's assume. You know what? No, this would be a top 64 match between you and Zach. So let's assume both of you know what you guys are playing. So he's playing Amber Steel, and
Okay.
we're playing Sapphire Steel. So we opened up
Oh
Captain
man,
Hook.
speaking of the devil, yeah.
We opened up Captain Hook. Along came Zeus, Hades, Pete Games Referee, Whole New World, Tinkerbell, and Fortisphere.
Yeah. So in this scenario, I probably would go definitely the Fortisphere and the hook. I would probably keep. Um, and then I would probably end up having to just ink everything else away. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Put everything else to the bottom. So we're gonna keep
Yeah.
Fortisphere Hook. We don't keep Pete. You don't want that as a 3-drop or any of these Whole New World cards.
No, because the P is of like even if you stop him from that one turn, it's not able to develop you anything. So even if the next turn you're still gonna go crazy, and then because you didn't ramp or anything, you're gonna end up like having a tough time.
Got it. Okay. All right, Zach, go ahead and start us off. We look at our hand though. We open up some nice cards. We got to grab your swords, Tamatoa, Popsicle,
Pretty depressing. It's just an ink pass.
Ink Tinkerbell pass. Okay, so we're gonna draw for turn. Okay, we drew a Tinkerbell, which is not bad. We have Fortisphere, Tippo, Gaston, and a Hook. So what's the first card you play? Do you open up and play Hook, try to get some pressure, or do you start with the Popsicle? You know he's playing Amber
So,
Steel.
when it's Amber Steel and it pings it away that fast, usually I don't play Hook, but he didn't develop a singer, right? He's not
Mm,
going to hardcast anything anytime soon.
mm.
And if later on in the game, if he pings away the Hook, it's fine. So I definitely think we ink away one. It's probably going to be one of the Popsicles here, and then we're going to put the Hook down.
Okay, so probably Fortisphere. That one, you think Fortisphere comes up less than the Popsicle ability to heal?
They both can come in clutch certain times, but because that it's the Steel matchup,
Mm.
you keep the Popsicle to like heal Popsicle like Cogsworth or beefy characters that they're trying to ping out.
Okay, so we'll ink the Fortisphere and we'll play the Captain Hook and Pass. Go ahead, Zach. Draw for turn. Inka Rapunzi. Okay. You're gonna pay 2 for a Mr. Smee. All right. Now it's our turn. We draw for turn. Shuffle our hand. By the way, when you're playing a game, you should shuffle your hand because your opponent doesn't know. Pro tip there. Okay, so now what are we gonna ink? And I like how we drew this again, by the way. Another Fortisphere.
And I only play 2, right? Is this it? This is my list, right? By the way,
Yeah,
this
this is
is
your exact list. Yep.
okay. Yeah, so yeah, it happens all the time. Like for some reason, I think it's glued to my, which is usually good. Like this scenario is just funny. Yeah, this is why we don't play A, guys. You would have like 4 of them in your hand right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you would kind of want to ramp up, right? You kind of want to ramp because you know that deck has to whole new world you. So you just kind of want to get on the ink advantage, and you probably want to set down the Tipo here.
Okay.
You probably the popsicles in that. Yeah, you probably can do the ink the Tamatoa here, and then put the Tipo down because that's just not gonna happen.
Okay. And then what are we
This
gonna ink with
matchup,
Tipo?
they're gonna wheel you away.
Tipo
It's
ability.
gonna be him not knowing you had another popsicle in hand.
Oh, okay. So just get rid of this.
Yes.
Okay. Why don't you get rid of one of the uninkable cards?
Well, right now I have another uninkable card in popsicle too. We can still see what I draw. It's like okay in this matchup, but a grab could come in very handy. I definitely don't want to get rid of the grab. And the Gaston, we're already at 3 ink. It's a very powerful play as well. I want to keep my options open on the Tink and the Gaston.
Okay.
I'm just a lot of it. I just kind of like just trust it, and like I just not gonna draw the equal.
Well, yeah, like you're playing into your tempo, and like if you started off this slow, I agree. Like there's no need to like get rid of these cards because you don't see a whole new world coming anytime soon unless he goes into Venon 4. But at that point, like you're already developing this board, so we're gonna go ahead and play that in pass.
All right. Well, yeah, this is I'm not like a fan of where I'm at in this game state, unfortunately. The Inca Pete games.
Games. Yep. Playing Ariel. Okay. Oops.
Me too. Ariel 3 is not bad. Not bad.
Yeah, that's good.
Pretty good.
Not a long time to play Ariel on 3, buddy. Just kidding. Okay.
Yeah, no, it was either that or play Pete games.
Ah. Okay, so you had
Oh no, yeah, you definitely don't. You definitely. I don't have singers, and you definitely don't fear anything I'm really doing on 4, other than Along King Zeus, which would be a really bad tempo for me.
Okay, so we drew a card, ready our stuff. All right, so I like our hand right now, which is just open display, these 2 plays. Because we have Popsicle Smee, Tinkerbell Gaston kind of staying. So we just Popsicle first, right? To see what we draw before we commit to anything else. All right, so that's a very good piece of advice. If you guys have a card in your hand, well, first of all, best advice in my opinion, think of your entire play before you slap any cards on the board, right? And then within that entire play, if you're gonna draw cards, possibly start, more than likely you want to draw at the very beginning of the play. That way you can make sure that the card you draw won't impact how you, oh, why did I draw 2? Crazy, that was weird. The card you won't impact the rest of the play, you know what I mean? So we did draw an uninkable Zeus, but we can still play this Smee in our hand and ink this card if we need to. What do you think?
That is the play.
Okay, so we're going to develop the board a little more wide, play Smee. and then ink the tin because it is our only uninkable here. All right, now we're just gonna pass there.
The good thing about this with the 3 uninkables in hand still is because he usually has to honey roll anyway, so we're not like too panicked, right?
Yeah.
We're fine. It does suck not seeing Quill though in this matchup. That's a little rough there, but it's all right.
Nope, there's Naveen. Storm Rage on off of the Naveen. Zach, what did you ink? You inked a.
Oh, I inked this thing.
Inked Ursula
The
Vanessa.
Ursula
There we go. Ursula Vanessa, Storm Rage on. Pop my Captain Hook, draw a card.
Yeah, that's usually how we end up losing the match. Naveen is insane.
The Naveen tempo is wild.
So good. They're the reason you can't get to your like Cogsworth. That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's honestly
yeah.
the reason why.
All right, strength comes down on this me. We're gonna get a pass there. All right, we draw for turn, and unfortunate. We knew that was coming. Is it? We have to play around Rapunzel. So is it just this on the Naveenster?
Yeah, you for sure have to end up like smacking it hard, and it has to be the one that has the most potential, right?
Yeah.
So it's definitely have to be just gonna be.
Hit the Naveen. Pay 4, and we'll just pass there.
Yeah. Even our curve was low key pretty rough too because like he I noticed he's not on the Daisy like like Piglet build this and that. So that's the hook is and this means not the optimal line. You want to go like Tipo to Grammatala like 2 to 4.
Yeah.
And we didn't have that either or the bill right. So it was rough.
Mm-hmm. And then I didn't expect us to draw grab your swords Gaston and then 2 more uninkables after that. So.
We were chilling. Yeah, we were definitely chilling.
Yeah. The lack of inkables is kind of where it got us here, but I mean, this game's not over. Zach's barely he still has 0 lore, and we're still trying to play this game. We're gonna whole new world. Okay, cool. So just like you said, they have to whole new world us, so that we're okay with that. We get 7 cards. Bam. And we have some heavy hitters possibly coming soon. Goes for 2. Sorry, Zach. You
him
inked the Chinkable Giant.
Him willing away one. Him willing one away one of our grabs of our 2 was a little rough there, but we can see what we draw right now for turn.
Yeah, because this is open deck list, I know there's only 1 more to worry about, and you inked the Tink, so there's only 1 more.
Oh, nice.
Or 3 more of those. Yeah.
I'm assuming you pass, Zach. Okay, so now where are we at? I'm thinking we get rid of this Cusco, right, Hector? We drew a lot of stuff. We got Cusco, Mufasa, Ariel, Pete, Smee.
Yeah. Cusco is not for this matchup for sure.
Okay, so he does give our people resist. He does give some people resist though. There is potential there. Would you ink maybe a Flavor Sham first? Because I don't think we're gonna Flavor Sham in this matchup, right? Anytime soon.
Yeah. Well, the thing with the Cusco for the resist body, right? It's this game is never gonna get to the point where you have 4 spare ink.
Okay.
Because it's 4 cost. It's kind of heavy cost. Like this game is probably just not gonna get to that ever state. And then the Hiram might have to come up too, believe it or not, because there's the one time where he realizes you have no resources.
I just want to highlight a lot of times before my opponents pass their turn, I would always say, "Hey, what did you ink? I'm sorry." And it's just I feel like it's the last time I get to ask before I draw. So like that, just a reminder: if you're ever playing in a match, you can always just kind of ask right before the turn's over, because the ideal is that like that card may remain face up till the end of the turn anyway. So it's always good. And I am trying to my best to remember what he's inked, and I know one of them has been a Tinkerbell, which is kind of important to remember for me. He has inked some Fortispheres, so the line there is the Bodyguard, which I think it's like a little relevant for me to think about. Just things that I always keep in mind whenever I'm just in a match.
Right, so we inked Cusco, and now what are we playing?
Man, that would have been the perfect line for the Ariel. But let's see. We have 5 ink, correct?
Yep.
So there's 2 lines we can go here. Obviously, like if you go the quill line and then you quill a card away, but you only develop 1 body on board. That's what sucks, is you have to like ramp early, and we didn't get to do that. Another line you can do is develop a Smee and a Pete. Mm-hmm. And that puts them like you're not really gonna get to play next turn, and it puts 2-3 bodies down, right, and keeps us that body presence there. Mm-hmm. The worst one is after he gave us 7 is go Hiram draw 2. Like
Yeah,
because then you just really pass, and that Harem's probably not going to live in that. Yeah. So I'm thinking here because like the Quill would only be able to deliver a Pete, and Pete Tipo is not going to do anything anyway. You probably have to do the Smee Pete line just to stay alive. We're crawling in this one for sure.
Okay. And we already inked, so okay. Go ahead. Okay. Yeah. See, those are that decision making is really where it comes down to it. I think a lot because the game's not over.
That's pretty. Yeah, that was a good turn, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that reactive turn.
I think a lot of people would have taken the Quill line because I was thinking about it, but then you're right that it's not. That's too greedy.
Oh yeah, we lose, man. Yeah, it's rough. I wish that's what you need to ramp on that matchup. Now you see how the matchups actually like. I think it's more harder than Ruby Sapphire. It's crazy. It's crazy. He said he didn't like his hand, but he only missed the one drop Cindy. After that, it was wild.
I know. Yeah, his hand was perfect. All right, would you ink? You inked another Vanessa. So he's inked 2 Vanessas for sure. I remember that. Play a Smee. Play a Cindy. And play a Pete Games.
Oof. Yeah. That's also another big decision making why I did end up doing like Hades and then characters that have actions, by the way, instead of like visions.
Because you need to slap the tempo back, right? Like you need to constantly just.
Yeah, I need to be able to play those characters. I need to be able to do what yeah. If not, you lose, right? If I was like on visions, let it go, and like hideaway, like I lose those.
All right, go ahead.
All right, draw. Hey, look, old to look a lucky card here. Reliable card there. Okay, so.
Added for that Pete. I'm trying to think of one.
Kind of want
Pete is the best answer to Pete. I just want to let you guys know as they're listening. Pete is the answer to Pete.
When they Pete, you Pete. Okay, so it's
probably in this matchup. Yeah, that's another card I considered putting at 3. By the way, too. It's a strong.
So this turn's probably this, right? I think that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to see the hand here. So you have the 2 on it, but then you have that. Damn. Okay. Yeah. 2-4. Yep. Yeah, that's gonna be the route.
What are we inking though?
You honestly have to ink the Quill.
Really?
Like that's not even a thing anymore.
Okay.
It's not a thing anymore. Like we're just never gonna get to Quill for play a character anymore. Like the development is just is there. Where like the Yubali, the Harem draw 2 probably weighs more.
Okay,
honestly.
Makes sense. Tinkerbell. And then Tipo is gonna eliminate Robin Hood. Bam, 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 bam.
All right, we trade.
Yep. And I will pass there. Now we get Punzled for 1. Yeah. He's gonna get a 4-cost upstart goblin. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, this is as best as you possibly get because now he has to answer our stuff, and if he doesn't pee us back, oh man, you know what I mean?
Yeah. 2 for Lantern.
Oh wait, no.
And if we top deck grab your swords, we're in this. Or Grandma grab. Oh, never mind. No Grandma grab your swords there.
What was that?
Strength. Zach's not announcing anything,
strength.
So he played Cindy. He played Lantern, and then he sang Strength with the Cindy, and then he dealt like 1 million damage there. And now you're playing
casting Whole New World.
Wow. All right, there you go.
Don't get me wrong. Oh, that's good.
It's not over though. Yeah, that's good. Come on, let's see it.
We can see it. He might have put.
Bam.
Position. That's fine.
Sometimes it is how it goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was no way we were gonna drop that fishbone. The Tinkerbell is for sure the play there.
Yeah. The games that I have won is because we do get to the mid range, and I did ramp early, and I dropped a Cogsworth. I didn't drop a Quill or a Cogsworth. Like this is like things have to just. I have to just draw insane, right, to like try to come back like that. Yeah.
All right, Zach.
Hold on. I know.
Pig.
I'm down to do it again.
Sure. Interesting. These are my 7.
Yeah,
low key. But if he gets burn necessities, I forget if he gets play burn.
You don't play bear.
This is a hand. This is the hand of all time. Is what this is. This is the hand of all time. I can't believe this is what we drew. Off of that was insane because those 2 hands could have been like meshed to be an amazing hand on one of these, but no. This is the hand of all time.
Yeah, those 2 hands is like they were supposed to be mixed for sure.
What was this? Whoa.
Man, this is crazy.
Oh man.
Hold on, what can I
Moral of the
draw?
story: make sure you guys dodge. Make sure you guys dodge Zach at the challengers.
Yeah, just dodge Zach at the challenges with his
You
deck.
just draw bad. Yeah.
All right, what you got, Zach?
I'm thinking, man. Thinking.
Thinking, man. He thinks a lot. That's his power.
It is. All right.
Crazy.
Go ahead.
Okay. So we're not.
Oh, he just quested out. How much? What's the lore count right now? It's 10, right?
10 to
10.
0. 10 to 0. So he's no longer. So he's not. I think this
Okay.
is. I think this is a more than reasonable game state to be in, low key. It's just not my favorite one, but it's not terrible either.
Yeah.
Is there a world where we go bam bam? Yeah, we ink this. We ink a fishbone, play a fishbone, ink again, and just play this, right? Okay, so that's the play. All right, so we're gonna ink a fishbone, play a fishbone for 3. We'll fishbone a card, and it's probably gonna be this little guy, right? Because this, or it could be this.
Yeah.
This one, right? We don't need to. Definitely don't need to.
And
And don't forget, guys, Smee doesn't take damage because I got a captain.
List doesn't play add-on removal, right?
Correct. It does not play add-on removal. I mean, yeah, his this doesn't play add-on removal.
Okay.
So we just get rid of this. That's true. That's true.
Okay. Just making sure. Yeah.
And then we'll just hard cast 5 for the grab your swords we drew.
Take those.
Yeah, take them all out of here. Here, I'll help you. I'll help you.
Yeah.
There we go. It's just kind of lame. It's a little lame because he might Rapunzel now, but I mean whatever. Like at that point, you know what really can we do? And I think
This is one of those scenarios where like multiple cannons in the deck, like considering 3 to 4 is probably
Would
really
be-
good, right?
yeah,
Being off the whole board for sure. As he has 0 singers, and that's it. But boom is like more harder, like probably will never play because of ink wise.
Lantis.
Alright. No, I can move that out the way.
Now we got a game going. Draw for turn.
Yeah.
Potential. We have a little bit of tempo. We have some
So
heavy.
I know you don't have another grab, so okay, that
Correct.
lets me do this play easily.
No play.
And don't get me wrong, I would have left to the 3 grass, but I was very focused on the Sapphire Ruby, right? So like
Yeah.
I could not afford that.
Inks me.
Inks me.
Yep.
Yeah, sure. I guess we do this.
Daisy. Oh, he does play them. It's just he played them mega late on us.
Yeah, the rough one.
Yeah. Big Cindy. Who are you, bro?
Okay.
Okay, quest of 12. Kind of scary. 12 is scary, but he only has 4 cards in hand left. Okay, so we're in this game. I know we're in this game. There has to be a way we could win. I feel like it. Okay, so we can potentially slap 10 ink on this turn. Unfortunately, we can't use all of our hand, but we definitely want to use Hades and Tippo, right, to develop.
Yeah. So it's gonna be definitely Hades for sure, right? That's like there's no world where we probably don't Hades or the Big Cindy because we lose.
That's true. Yeah. And then I kind of want to just use this, ink this, and play this, and just have characters on board
to put the presence.
Yeah,
the presence. That little pink can matter, right? Yeah.
And then we'll play Tippo. No Tippo.
And then obviously you don't go effect. No effect. Right.
No effect.
And then now because we're forced to clear. How much does the Daisy damage have? I can't even. Sorry,
Daisy.
2 damage?
No, Daisy didn't have any damage. It's the Naveen. Naveen has 2 damage on it, so we should probably bump our this.
On a beam, yeah.
Okay. Oh, by the way, this has 1 damage. I forgot because of the. Smee has 1 damage because of the we quested with him last turn.
Wait.
Oh now
so
do we?
Why don't you?
Oh yeah, you're right. Now we just hit Smee, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's Smee. We'll use Smee instead, and then we'll still quest with Pete Games. Go to 1. I'll go to 4, and we'll pass there.
Him winning us a second time put us back in the game. So let's hope we keep this.
There was also a world where we could have just healed our Smee. Ooh, because we really want to do it next turn. Okay,
yeah.
So.
And it actually does happen, right?
Pete Games to hand is good in this matchup. Okay, that's good. So now if he has any songs, he has to use them now. That 14 though.
With Daisy, did we do the effect of Daisy?
Yeah. We got a Pete. We got the Pete. Hey Peter. Okay, so he's in an Inca song.
Okay.
Play around our Pete probably. What's your ink strength of a raging goon? Yeah, there you go. Oh, Robin Heath. That's a little scary. Robin from the Hood is a little scary. Zeus my Tipo? Why don't you Zeus this? Oh. Oh. That's oh
Oh
no.
my God, is it?
Okay.
Oh,
Not another whole new world. I have 22 cards in the deck left. Is that your fourth one, dude?
Yeah, fourth one, dude.
So lucky. So lucky. So lucky. Zach's one
Zach,
of
how
those
many cards do you have left in your deck?
Zach's one of those amber
14.
we have 15.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, but no, you can't wheel
It
me
can
because
matter.
yet
It can matter.
Wow.
no, you can't because this you can only do it. Yeah,
No,
this is
yeah, I
crazy.
can. No, yeah, because we'll draw for turn. We'll be at 14, and then we go wheel. Oh, you're right. We can't wheel. Terrible.
Wait, because we go to 14 cards, but we
We'll
draw
draw
14,
for
but then we
turn.
don't have to draw anymore.
No, we'll draw for turn though, so
That's
we'll be
why.
at 4. Oh, you're right. Yeah, we'll be at 14, so we wheel.
We could do it.
Yeah, we'd be at 14. Wheel
Oh,
pass.
shoot. That's true.
But Zach, you're so
Oh,
lucky.
man.
Zach, you're so lucky. You resolved all 4 Hono worlds.
Yeah.
See, he's
I
one
did.
of those Amber Steel players. Like when the Amber Steel player goes like perfectly, like I didn't draw a single Hono world off my Hono world, and I can just keep. And it's so lucky. So because especially because look what we drew. Look at this. Because look what we drew, Hector, and look at our discard. Unfortunate.
All right, go ahead.
Unfortunate.
So question is, do we have how many whole new worlds do we have in our discard real quick?
2. And
First off, did you ever
we used we didn't use a single one. We discarded 2
Did you
and we
ink
drew.
one? Did you ink one?
No. And we drew 2.
you-
We drew 2 for your.
We just do that,
And-
that was
yeah.
so huge. We had a
And-
game like that.
and I'm
in
pretty
and of
sure-
itself
I'm
was like,
pre- I'm
we
pretty
had
sure-
exactly 10 ink.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this was the 7th one too. So just unlucky, just straight up unlucky. I don't think there's any way
It was the
to.
7th card in the corner.
I don't know if there's any way to stop
yo,
a lethal now.
my deck is broken because now the daisies are just killers.
Your deck is cheese is what it is. Okay, so let me think. I don't think there's anything to do other than to dig for another Hades. I don't know. You played 2, right? I don't know if we have another one in here. I think we do because I don't think we've inked one.
17,
Oh no,
16,
there's a
yeah,
second
okay.
Hades in this card. No, let it goes. Maybe
we probably
Tinkerbell.
go the. Oh man, yeah, it was huge. The Honey Worlds. Let's
Whole
see.
camera.
We probably play the popsicle first, right?
Yeah, whole new world. It's this whole new world, Zach. You're so lucky.
Yeah, because there's 14 cards left in
There
our
you go.
deck.
Yep.
Odds are you see the other Honey World and then you play it again and you just pass it and he loses. So it's funny.
Yeah, but
it
no, yeah,
happens. It was
yeah,
cool.
it happens. It happens. It happens.
Yeah, scenario. Yeah.
I want to just say it's grandma now.
No, because if you go grandma, no, because if you go grandma here, you like for sure ought to lose, right? The best possible scenario is you probably have to sing Honey World and like see your options there. Because he has 7 cards in hand, right?
Do we sing it, or do we have to use this to clear the Robin Hood?
Which 3 strength? Does it clear it? How much strength does the thing have?
Yeah, it has 6
But I'm at
willpower.
16. I'm at 16. You have to kill Naveen and Daisy.
We have to kill Naveen
too.
and Daisy, so we have to kill the Robin Hood.
Yeah,
for
you
sure.
you hard cast it here.
Oh, card cast it. Yeah. Yeah, hard cast it. Wham. Lucky Zach Stone. All right, let me discard it.
Yeah, that Tala pay 4 for only at grabbing 1 card. It
It's
would
not
just
worth
wouldn't
it.
be enough.
Makes sense. Might as well pay 5. You get 7. 5th whole new world? Oh, look what's at the bottom of our deck.
Then you get options
Look what's
like
at the
that. Oh my
bottom
God,
of our
it's
deck
crazy.
against Zach Stone. Look what's at the bottom of our deck against Zach. That's exactly how it makes me feel when I play against him. I literally every time. That's the thing. So whenever you're playing against Zach Stone, it's not that he's good. He's just lucky. No, I'm just kidding. No, but seriously. Though, this is insane. Okay.
No, this was very
Could
unfortunate.
beat,
It's funny, a
not
lot
too
of
many
things
guests
definitely
could
went
beat
that
me
way.
with Kevin. No matter what.
Maybe I'm just unlucky, is
It's
what it
wild.
is. I think.
Oh,
Okay,
man.
I don't know.
Okay, so we have the Long Came Zeus and we have cannons, right? We could still hard cast the Long Came Zeus as well. We have an ink for turn, correct?
Correct.
Because we can ink and then play it, so we can hard cast both Along Came Zeus, play Fire the Cannons, and swing with the Hades. That could all be done.
Okay, so what's the line?
Fire the Cannon doesn't accomplish anything though.
Yeah. Sorry, it's because I can't fully see how much damage the Robin Hood has. I just see a die on there.
Robin has 3. Sorry, he has 3 damage on it.
3, 4, 5. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. 1 away from the yeah.
So I think it might just be Ink Zeus to Naveen hit the Robin Hood, right?
Yeah.
All right, hit Robin Hood. And I don't know.
I'm
if
not
he...
gonna draw.
Yeah, I
I
was gonna say I don't know if he draws.
I'm not gonna draw.
I don't know if he
I'm not
draws
gonna
here.
draw. I don't need to.
Well, Fishbone Quill. What do you feel? What are you quilling here? What are you inking here?
Cogsworth.
Oh, Zach, it says you disconnected.
What? I'm still here.
Okay. Set on my little thing. Okay, so we'll ink a card
Oh,
off the
no.
quill.
Oh no, I can't click anything.
Oh, you disconnected. And then I'll Zeus to the Naveen.
Judge, free win.
Judge,
Okay,
free
then we
win.
go there.
Can I come back or no?
Let me try and invite you again. Yeah. I invited you. Let me know if it lets you come back.
Is everything still there?
Yeah, everything's clear. I mean, the Zeus, the Naveen's gone because I Zeused it.
Did you invite me again?
And then we could even play cannon still, but it doesn't do anything, right?
Yeah, it doesn't accomplish
That's the
anything.
issue.
I invited you, Zach.
The thing is, I wonder if does he quest per game here? 16, 17, 18, 19?
No, he goes to 19,
Oh.
but he can just set up a really wide board, right? And we're out of stuff. I mean, there's a world where he sets up a bunch of one draws, but I don't.
Well, I feel like we still probably go for the fire the cannons play, right?
But then he's not gonna
Regardless.
Rapunzel's, right? Yeah. And we can do it next turn though.
Well, I feel like the Rapunzel's beyond.
Yeah. You just do it next turn, right?
Because you got to play the action just to like for the next turn possibly have the numbers enough ping to like clear it. But
No, my Steam isn't connecting for some reason.
It's your Steam.
Yeah. All right. Well, are you able
it was
to?
good. I mean, it was still-
Can you see the hand? Can you see my hand?
I
Take my hand out.
I can.
All right. So you weren't winning because look at my hand. Flip it.
Mean.
I had Pete.
You had Pete games. You just play Pete. You go
Oh,
hella
yeah.
wide.
Yeah,
mega
you weren't
wide.
winning.
It's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
People believe it. I'm starting to honestly believe the Amber Steel matchup is harder than the Ruby Sapphire. I don't know. Yeah.
No,
It's crazy.
no,
It's not
I mean,
easy.
I did get very, very lucky, but still, like, even though like there's like unfavorable matchups or there's hard matchups, like there are so many ways for those decks to win, and it's about just like mulliganing strategies and really like getting down to like what you need and what you're really looking to keep in those matchups. And I think you even were like talking about in the when you were mulliganing with Kevin in the beginning, you were like, okay, so we have perfect knowledge. We should keep this. We should keep this. Did you think there was any like decisions you could have made differently to like change the way that game went?
Oh, I mean, well, we kept two. Only Hook in the Fortesphere, right?
I think for Mulligan, our Mulligan was perfect because we put away a lot of like bad cards, heavy on ink, like it's like big on inkables.
Maybe if you're on the draw, you don't need the one Fortesphere. Maybe it's just Hook.
I don't know about that one because I think you still want to see a popsicle or an item just to be able to develop.
No, but if you're
something
on the draw against it, I mean, it's just a thought because I don't play this deck, right?
Yeah, no, I get it. But the thing is, we're still on 20 on Inkables. So if you don't need the Fortesphere, then it's ink, and it's for sure ink.
That's
okay,
true.
that's a good point. That's a
very
good point.
Very good point. I think maybe there's like an argument to like the turn where we played this me and maybe because we started seeing a lot of uninkables off the top. So maybe there was an argument where like we're gonna risk not having an inkable like in 2 turns from now if we didn't play this me. But you also want to develop the board is what it is. And then what are the odds that we weren't gonna see? We drew 2 uninkables back to back.
Honestly, I just like obviously like I played this deck for so much. It's if you don't go to Tipo to Tala or at least drop the Quill, and before they whole new world Quill at least ramp 1 or extra 2 times. It's rough, right? Because you're keeping on curve with them, and then they're way better removal and characters and playing cards for free, and then you have to hard cast and
then
Amber, and it was because as soon I'm gonna be honest, as soon as we didn't get to like the Quillan or the Tipo Grammatala, I knew it was gonna be rough. The graph kind of brought us back, and then we were getting some like weird hands with the like in one of the wheels he gave us 3 quills.
Dude, that was the hand of all time because like when you wheeled the first time, I was like, these characters are great, but it's just nothing against this board. And then when you wheeled again, we saw the grab your swords, but the rest of the hand was quill, grab your swords, Tamatoa, and like Mufasa or something. And I was like, wow, this is like we finally got the grab your swords, but these cards suck. Like and that's because of the way that came out. Yeah, so I mean, that's the thing. You do need a little bit of luck. It doesn't have to be on your side. The DLC is 2-game format, so that's what's crazy is that you don't get that game 3. If that was game 1 and then we take a game 2, that's it. You know, you have two great players taking the game from each other, and you got to move on. I like it. Some people don't like it. Some people prefer it. Some people don't. I do want to hear you guys' opinions in the comments below. Let us know what you feel about the 2-game format and DLCs in general, and about taking a rogue deck like Sapphire Steel to a Disney Lorcana challenge. So, Hector, thanks again for questing with us. We really appreciate it. Thank you for running through the deck a little bit. I feel like I always learn something from the guests that we bring on, and like how to play the decks. Once again, congrats for getting top 64 at day 2 at DLC Vegas, representing SoCal. It means a lot to a lot of us, I'm sure. Do you have any shout outs before we let you go?
Oh yeah, I definitely have some shout outs. So I want to give a shout outs to one of my like close Discord friends, the cookout, as we call each other. We're always trying to cook in there and spicy decks. So shout out to them, everything, all the love, support, and just testing and helping me out with decks. Topic Keep, I was able to, they invite me on their team testing and kind of like treat me as one of their own, even though I'm not officially one of them, but like as one of their own. So that's pretty cool. TCGs where my Top Choice Gaming is where my journey kind of started with like, kind of just playing there with Yu-Gi-Oh and everything. So always a shout out to them. Everyone that stayed at the Airbnb, it was like 19 of us. It was pretty cool. We actually like Airbnb a motel. We Airbnb a motel. There was like 20 of us. It was pretty cool. And then just anyone that supports the channel, again, 24K Lorcana. If you guys can go there, subscribe. I would highly appreciate it. I'm kind of barely starting. If you need any help with anything, I know I'm not like super pro player, this and that, but I had gotten asked before for like coaching and stuff like that on certain decks and that I play this and that. So hit me up about that. I wanted to have a little bit on the resume before I officially do that, right? But I have accepted that. Now that I kind of have something, I'm like, okay, you guys can hit me up. So talk to me on Discord. If you can like post on the link in the description, whatever. You guys can definitely on my Discord or hit me up on the YouTube channel. We can get that going. Yeah. And then that's it. Thank you so much for having me, man. It was an amazing time. It was cool, man.
Of course,
supporting the alley out here.
Yeah, Kevin did say he likes knowing about our guests and getting to learn a lot. So one thing we kind of want to send you off with is, what's your favorite Disney character or Disney movie and why?
I like Aladdin a lot. I've always loved Aladdin. I love the soundtrack. Like, not really because of the deck. Like A Whole New World. Man, I can hear that song for so like I like the live action. I like the regular. Like it's just great, man.
Have you
Aladdin
heard the
is awesome.
alternative rock remix?
You gotta send it to me. Send it to me.
I got you.
Yes. And then Jasmine, right? You gotta know Jasmine. Everything about Aladdin. We love it. Even Jafar, right? Like it's awesome.
Nice. Very fitting. Very fitting.
Before we get hey Kevin, by the way.
Yes. Oh yes.
Zach, let them know now. Let them know now. That's right.
Yep.
This is to Ego Dre. Ego Dre, we had to do it. We had to match you, bro.
I had to do it for last week's episode. Yeah, if you guys didn't see last week's episode, we sat down with Ego Dre, and we're kind of flexing how when you make day 2, they put a little like number or something different on your competitor's badge to indicate you made day 2. They got a star on theirs. I did not get a star on mine this time. R.I.P. But yes, get your flowers. Round of applause for the SoCal Lorcana Goons and 24K. And Hector, thank you so much for supporting the channel. In general, like I said, I've known you since Yu-Gi-Oh, and I know when we started playing Lorcana, it was like immediate, like, hey, what's up, man? And now that we're kind of like growing in this space, it's always cool to have people and to see like our buddies like not only in the top tables but succeed, man. So from the bottom of my heart and from a lot of SoCal people, I'm sure we all appreciate you making day 2 and having that SoCal representation. There's a lot of us there, man. I can't stress that enough. So can't wait for the next DLC. Can't wait to see you in Seattle. Zach, do you want to sign us off? Anything before we call it a day?
Guys, Kevin and I were super grateful and appreciative for any of you guys that have walked up and approached us this past weekend and said hi. It means a lot. We give out a lot of stickers and we still got plenty more. So in DLC Seattle, definitely come by and say hi if you haven't met us yet. We're always happy to talk and don't be shy. Even if you just want to say, hey, what's up and walk away, I totally understand. A lot of people are always coming by. So just want to go ahead and just give a big open arm extended welcome to anybody that does want to see us. And as always, guys, this was Quest with a Guest, the podcast where you lore for more. And this is Lorcana Goons. See ya.
All right, and be sure to like, comment, subscribe to this and Hector's 24K Lorcana channel. We'll see you goons next time.